Testing. Someone just please confirm that the sound is working. I had a little snafu the other day and just want to make sure that it's not repeating. Can you guys hear me? Someone in the chat? Anyone? Is anyone out there? Anyone? Awesome. Thank you, Traveling Devil. Thank you. Wow. How exciting. How exciting. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And finally, in Game 5 of the preseason, the New Jersey Devils / Utica Comets have registered their first win of the preseason. And what an exciting game it was, my friends. Who would have thought that all you needed to do to manufacture our first win was to ship all the NHL guys to Prague and put the next generation of Brodeur in the net? Jeremy Brodeur finally getting his debut as a New Jersey Devil in the preseason. I really wanted to go to this one, but I had a bunch of stuff to take care of. So unfortunately, I was not able to attend. And as the game went on, I started to kind of get more FOMO. Because the kid played a hell of a game. 29 of 30 shots, had that shutout going deep into the game. I'm sure that's going to really piss him off. He was so close before the Rangers scored, but absolutely gem of an outing for Jeremy Brodeur. Some insane saves, stopped Sakura on a breakaway in the first. He had a crazy save where he went left to right and got the pad out there, and he looked absolutely phenomenal in this game. And you never know. We have so many goalies in the organization now. Unfortunately, I don't suspect we see him with the big club anytime soon, but, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him, whether he lands in Utica for this upcoming season or in the ECHL with the Adirondack Thunder. But what an absolute amazing outing for him. I'm sure he enjoyed the moment, and it probably has to be one of the highlights of his young career. I mean, or not so young career, I suppose. He's been playing hockey for a while, but to go out there against the Rangers in a preseason rivalry game and put on the performance he did to get the Devils that elusive, first preseason win at the Rock had to feel incredible for him. And I think tonight what you saw is, this thing is always killing me, is the difference between, hungry players looking to leave their mark on the coaching staff and organization versus guys that, knew they were going to be in Prague a week later and that their roster spots were secure. You could never count out guys that are hungry and, clawing for a job. I think that's exactly what you saw tonight. And, it showed. It showed in the play and it showed in the final result. It was an absolutely amazing game to watch. A bunch of hungry guys, like I said. And Hallinan, man, we saw a little bit of Hallinan last season. And he's a guy I think that throughout the year might be putting pressure on guys on that fourth line to, really have to play well to stay in the lineup, because I could imagine a world where we see, Nathan Bastian possibly sat out in favor of Hallinan on that meat line. Imagine Hallinan on the meat line. Listen, I like Nathan Bastian, but there's far more upside, in my opinion, to Brian Hallinan's game. And I think a fourth line of Lazar, Cotter, and Hallinan, that's a real interesting line. A really interesting line. I mean, I love the meat line as it is, but I do think, Hallinan is going to be pressuring to take that spot, because I think him on that fourth line would be phenomenal. But overall, love to see the Devils finally get a win. Not the NHL guys. It took the, new Utica Devils, but this is really not even the new Utica Devils. I called the Devils the new Utica Devils throughout last season because of how many AHL guys we kind of had in the lineup at various points of the season. But this was almost exclusively Utica Comets guys, with a couple guys on PTOs like LeBanc. He had a couple nice plays tonight as well, looking to see if he can hang around for a little bit longer. But overall, very interesting night from the Rock. Let me just see. some of the comments here. Thank you, Zebra Games. I don't know. That was from hours ago. I don't know if you're still in here, but shout out to you, Zebra Games, our youngest regular. Rent free, the Brodeur fam owns your franchise. Wow. That it's so crazy to see Marty's kid, and it makes me feel really old. I mean, I remember when these kids were born. I remember when his first son Anthony was born during the playoffs, and and throughout the years to see them kind of around the rink and around Marty as young kids, and to see him make his Devils preseason debut was really something special. Almost got the shutout. This group looks fantastic. You just got to work on taking less penalties and allowing momentum to build. Yeah, a little bit of a penalty, fest at points, but a hungry group tonight. A hungry group tonight. Richard Tompkins, are you a Ranger fan, sir? Unfortunately, I hear you. Hello, David. Hello, Selected Boy. We finally got a win. Yes, we did. All it took was the Utica Comets and a Brodeur in goal. And that was the recipe for the victory here tonight. Amazing game. I was probably only because it was Jeremy Brodeur, but watching the game, I was more excited than I should have been, and I'm wearing my Marty hat in honor of the Brodeur family tonight. It was just something special to watch, especially if you grew up watching Marty for all those years. My mom is happy Brodeur got the win. She remember seeing them all the time. They were little. Yeah, same, Alex. They would always be around the rink. I would see them with Marty and his wife at the time. I would see them at the at the practices, at games. They're always around. There's tons of iconic photos of Marty with his kids throughout the years after cup wins, etc. And it's crazy to see, and it makes me feel really old. Stanley, a lineup with pulse, amazing. Yeah, it's amazing what hunger can do for a team. And these guys are either looking to, get on the kind of watch list for the big club with potential injuries going on throughout the season. And as we all know, that probably is likely the injury cloud. The injury black cloud has been hovering over this franchise now since last season. And a lot of these guys are looking to just get on the radar and be in the minds of the coaching staff for if and when guys go down for call-ups. And then there's some of these guys that are probably trying to cement their place on the AHL roster. So these are all guys with something to prove, kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder and, looking to solidify their position wherever that may be. Sad they let one in the last minute 30. Yeah, absolutely. That's always to lose a shutout like that. That always really kills goalies, and I'm sure Jeremy's going to be super pissed about it. I mean, he played a phenomenal game. The shutout would have been kind of the cherry on the sundae. It just wasn't meant to be. He honestly got lucky late when the Rangers on the power play. Someone missed a wide open net too, so I guess it kind of evened out there because the guy just missed a wide open net. He easily could have buried it, and he just shanked it. Jeremy held his own. Nice moment for him, and this will probably be the highlight of our season. Marty's son beat the Rangers. Oh, Stanley, I hope you are so wrong. If this is the highlight of our season, I will not be in good mental or physical health, because that would not be good if that was ended up being the highlight of our season. And I don't think it will be. I think we are going to have plenty of thrilling regular season wins at the Rock and on the road, and hopefully deep into the playoffs. I know a lot of people are still kind of down about, what we saw prior to tonight, but in reality, the NHL guys really only played that one game on Long Island. I'm not going to put too much stock into it, and hopefully, they get some good practices in Prague. It seems like they've pretty much, when they got to Prague, started practicing right away. They're going to, acclimate to the time change, all that stuff, and hopefully they get some good practice in, and it translates into those two games against the Sabres in the Global Series. A lot of blue in the lower bowl tonight. Hope they enjoyed the show. Yeah, I think they, unfortunately, due to the proximity to New York City and all the Rangers fans that live in New Jersey, it's much more affordable for them to attend games at the Rock than it is at the Garden most of the time. And so, for the history of the New Jersey Devils organization, we've always seen a ton of Rangers jerseys in our building. And unfortunately, that is not something that will really ever change. Every Devils Rangers game, and especially in the playoffs, you're just going to see a ton of them. And that's why it was just so sweet. One of my favorite, moments in the post dynasty years was that game 6 when Adam Henrique scored that goal. Henrique, it's over, to knock the Rangers out in the Eastern Conference Finals and go to the Cup Finals. That will forever be like a core moment of just seeing all their fans devastated. Adam Henrique exercising the demons of Stéphane Matteau. And for those younger fans that aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, you could look up Stéphane Matteau of the Rangers beat the Devils in, I think it was pretty sure it was double overtime of Game 7 in the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals to go to the Cup after the Devils tied it in dramatic fashion late in the third period. And so that was kind of lingering over the franchise. And it seemed like when Adam Henrique, finally knocked the Rangers out in 2012, before we went to the Cup Finals, that was kind of the answering for that. And then obviously the 2023 playoffs, our departed hero Akira Schmid came in, played a hell of a game with the shutout, knocked the Rangers out again in a Game 7 at the Rock. And watching all the Rangers fans just leave in droves, it's something that never gets old. They were getting, taunted by everybody on the way out. If you haven't seen it, I have tons of videos. I was at the game. I have tons of videos on the channel from that Devils Rangers Game 7, both in the arena as they fled like rats, as well as outside of the arena on the concourse. I have all types of footage. So if you like seeing Rangers fans being tormented, you could go check those out. Those are some of the earlier videos on the channel. But what a night. What a night, Zach. That's the energy we like to see. Absolutely. That's a hot take, Ryan. Brodeur should take Dawes' spot. I don't know about all that. Brendan plays. I hope LeBanc gets the fourth line spot over Bastian. You never know what's going to happen, right? It's a long season. Guys could go through kind of rough patches or, more, God forbid, more injuries. But I do like Hallinan as well. LeBanc could be an interesting one too. But for now, they're here. Got to show what they have in the last 2 preseason games we have here. And we'll see what becomes of this Devils roster once they get back from Prague. Hello, Zebra Games. You're up late, my man. Nice to see the Chippy play, including the fight after the second. Yeah, I think those are all kind of, elements of guys trying to leave their mark and guys that are hungry. You're going to see a little more physicality. You're going to see the rough stuff. You're going to see guys drop the gloves because these guys are fighting for jobs. Their future isn't secure as, the stars that went to Prague. Those guys kind of know where they're at in their careers. Their roster positions are secure and they don't have much to prove. Whereas this is a bunch of guys that have a lot to prove. And you saw that tonight. Richard, how dare you, sir? I'm a Devils fan. I like teasing people. No problem. I just thought maybe you were a Ranger fan that snuck in here. But David, any updates on Pesci? No, we're not going to ever really get a lot of updates. He didn't make the trip to Prague. I'd imagine if I was a betting man, because he's been on the ice, I would think that Pesci probably will play in the Devils home opener on October 10th against the Maple Leafs. I mean, that's a week and a half. If I was a betting man, I'd say he's ready to go for that, but nothing has come out yet. Very secretive with the injuries. And so, I don't expect that to change, but it is encouraging that he's been on the ice and, we'll be watching the Global Series from home. So hopefully we see him in that home opener lineup on the 10th against Sheldon Keefe's former club, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Love seeing Brodeur wearing the 60. Maybe one day his son will wear 90. Man, that'd be a pretty interesting and funny plot twist, right? We're in 2048, the third generation Brodeur wearing 90. They look faster than our main crew. Makes me wonder if our main crew is only playing like 60%. Well, Devin, a lot of people have tried to excuse. Again, I'm not making excuses for anything, but a lot of people have been sharing this weird sentiment like that the Devils weren't trying. And that's kind of hard for me to believe. These guys are professionals. They get paid a lot of money. Yeah, it's the preseason, so maybe you're not going to play the body as much and do all these things. But when it comes to skating and stuff, I just can't see these guys half-assing it. And for people just to say, oh, it's preseason, they're not trying to get hurt. Like, to me, that makes sense if you're talking about maybe racing full speed for a loose puck in the corner that you might ease up more so than you would during, a regular season game that counts. But in terms of just the team speed, I just think it was a combination of, the guys looking to shake that summer rust and probably maybe a little bit of maybe feeling too relaxed because it's a preseason game and knowing it doesn't count. But the team tonight definitely looked like they had their legs under them. And the Utica Comets could probably be pretty dangerous in the AHL this year. I'm very curious to kind of keep an eye on them. I wish they were closer to us or at least where the Devils play because I would attend some AHL games. I love minor league hockey. I love attending AHL and ECHL games. Just the downside for me is where I live, both Utica and Adirondack, or Glen Falls, New York, where the Adirondack Thunder play, where Jeremy Brodeur played last year, is super far away, and it's a hike. And so I can't make it out there as often as I'd like. Jeremy Brodeur was really good, just a bit more than a minute from a shutout. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it got blown there in that fashion. I'm sure he would have really liked that extra little, the cherry on the sundae, like I said before. It would have been really nice to get it for him, but it wasn't in the cards. The Devils beat the Rangers 3-1 to earn their first W of the preseason. That is, in fact, true, Tim. Love to see the minor leaguers getting it done and getting us in the win column. Yes, selected boy, that was Game 7 in the 22-23 playoffs. Yep. Devils beat the Rangers in that nice 7-game series in the first round before we kind of got pummeled by the Carolina Hurricanes in round 2. But I will forever, anytime the Devils beat the Rangers in the playoffs, it's always very special. But a 7-gamer at home, that one was, especially being down 2-0 and going into MSG with a young Akira Schmid thrust into the limelight to bail the Devils out. I'll always remember that series. And, those are the moments, franchise moments. Whenever you could beat your arch rival in the playoffs, especially in those circumstances, it makes it all the more special. Solid game from LeBanc. Absolutely, Mark. I could see him, maybe sticking around a little bit longer than some of these other guys because of his experience. And again, because we seem to be cursed with injuries. It'll be very interesting to see how that progresses and see what guys stick around. Zach, I like Monsieur a lot. Yeah, I like him. I think he's definitely going to be in Utica this year just because we have just so much depth right now. And I think it's going to be hard for him to leapfrog people just because, again, there's just so many guys. With Kovacevic and Hadika and DeSimone and Casey. And again, the whole Seamus Casey situation is going to be a very interesting one to keep an eye on. I correctly predicted last week that he was going to make the trip to Prague just because I thought he was playing way too good for him to at least not be one of the extra guys the team was allowed to bring. But it seems like from everything we've seen thus far that Seamus Casey is going to be in the opening night lineup. And it's going to be interesting to see how long he sticks around for. I think he really might be able to make a case for himself where he plays so well that the coaching staff is like, you know what? We can't send this kid down. And, who are we to say no? I just think going into the season that Fitzgerald definitely wanted him in Utica for the year just to develop and really work on his game. And the thought of such a young defense, if we had Luke Hughes, Shimo Nemitz, and Casey all in the lineup, I do think that is a lot of inexperience to have out there on the blue line at once. But, Casey might come in and play more like a vet than Luke or Nemitz did as rookies. He seems very cool, calm, and collected as of now. I'm curious to see if he does play in those Global Series games, what's he going to look like there? But I definitely think he has a very good chance of sticking around. Great game, solid effort and energy. Also, I love their level. Yeah, they brought it. Hunger and desire. You saw it all out there tonight, and these guys were looking, again, to make a name for themselves. Physicality up. Sound is sketchy. I'm not sure. Need to drop the Barnabas Health sponsor. Can't stay healthy. It might be the curse of the RWJ Barnabas Health that we're clubbed over the head with at every every chance they get. They love pushing the RWJ Barnabas Health. Anyone have anything else? Yeah, exciting. I'm going to go back and watch some of these highlights again, but great night in, more like development type situation, future Devils of the next couple seasons, or at least some of them. And then we finally got the win. We finally got a win in the preseason, and all it took was a Brodeur and net. Yeah, the patch. So I will say, that is one thing that I'm a jersey snob. For those of you that might be new to the program, I collect a lot of game-worn jerseys, and I have a bunch of authentic jerseys and stuff. and I am a jersey snob, the patches are, I mean, the first thing is it could always be worse. That's the only one thing I will find solace in. If you see some of the overseas teams, like the whole jerseys are littered with patches and stuff, and it's terrible. With that being said, I knew eventually the Devils would fall victim to this. I just wish, why can't they make the RWJ Barnabas logo like black? Like, are they going to care that much? Just make it black, I guess, or even just solid white or black and white. But either way, just change their logo to fit the color scheme of the jersey. And then I wouldn't care as much. Obviously, I would always prefer no patch. But if you have to shamelessly have sponsor patches on the thing, then just tell them, sorry, but we understand your logo is this color. For the purpose of our jersey, it has to match the jersey. We don't want this, conflicting color on the jersey. Just yet another example of something that modern day is not as good as back in the day. Traveling Devil 76 is headed to Prague. I am super jealous. He'll be attending the Global Series. We're going to see if we could have him maybe do a live video in of some kind from either at the arena or outside the arena. So look for that. We'll see if his international cell phone will be able to pull that off. I'm trying to stay up till I leave for the airport. Oh, I am so jealous. When are you leaving, Traveling Devil? You leaving soon? Pumped for Prague. Yeah, make it black or white or a combination of the two, and it wouldn't stick out as much. Just try to make it blend in as much as possible. But no, full, red, white, and blue. Not for me. David, 82-0 season incoming. I don't know about that, but I would sign up for like 53 wins, 54 wins, 52 wins. I'll take 52 wins. At least the patch is small, unlike some teams. Yeah. The Maple Leafs, I was waiting for someone to bring this up. Maple Leafs are legit milk and cookies sponsored now. Yep, they got the milk and the Oreos. Makes perfect sense, and that's clever marketing. Clever marketing and someone with an eye for kind of designish type stuff. I'll send you something during the warm-ups and outside. Nice. Cool, Anthony. Yes, I am hyped for the Global Series. It is weird. I think one game is on the East Coast will be 1 p.m. start and one is a 10 a.m. start, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be a little bit strange. Yeah, that'll be kind of odd, but it's a special event. Anytime your team gets picked to be in a special event, whether it's the Global Series or the Stadium Series, any sort of high profile thing like this, it's always great exposure for the organization and it should be cool. But it did not come at a, without its downside. And the downside is that our real NHL team that is in Prague right now had a much shortened training camp and preseason to kind of get their stuff together. And I hope it doesn't come to bite them in the proverbial ass when we finally play those games in the Global Series. I'm leaving home at 3 a.m. and taking off at 10:45. Wow. Brendan, I have some games planned too. Going to Vegas to see the Devils this regular season because I've always wanted to see the Vegas pregame show. Hitting Boston MSG as well for the first time, actually. Wow, really cool. I've actually seen the Devils at all three of those places. Vegas is really cool. Obviously, I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas before, but Vegas is an unbelievable destination. I enjoyed it probably too much in my, young 20s. As an older man now, I still enjoy it, but it's not quite the same as when I was in my younger 20s. But the game day atmosphere, the show, all of the theatrics, and they got the band and the costumes and the cannons, and they got all the stuff. It is really cool, and it's unlike any other arena kind of atmosphere that I've been to. And TD Garden in Boston is incredible. I've seen the Devils there several times over the years. I have a good friend that lives out there, and I try to go, at least every other year. I feel like recently it's been a little bit harder for me because for whatever reason, it seems like the Devils always play at Boston, like during the week, which presents its own set of challenges. But love Boston, great city, great food, especially love the North End. Stuff my face on pizza and all kinds of pastries. Great times in Boston always. And I'm going to see if I can make it out there to see the boys play in Boston this year because I don't think I've been there in a couple years. Agree completely on the sponsor patch. Ditch the damn blue. Imagine the Rangers wearing a sponsor patch with orange on it. You can't. Well, that's one thing where I'd give the Rangers credit. They wouldn't allow it. I believe, is it their helmet that is Benjamin Moore? I think, and the colors, again, they match the colors. It makes sense, right? Make it make sense. Don't just put an eyesore on there for the money, but everything's a cash grab, guys. The world is a cash grab. Flying out to Montreal, February 15th, the Four Nations face-off, Finland versus Sweden, U.S. versus Canada. Jealous of that. I don't think I'm going to make it to Montreal, but I do plan on going to, I think it's the week, a couple days after that, to Boston at the TD Garden to see, I forget, is it U.S.? It might be U.S. Finland, and then hopefully they make it to the gold game or whatever you want to call it. But USA has a game in Boston, and then the championship game I think is also in Boston for sure as well. So I'm going to try to hit those. This is funny you mentioned this. What other giveaways do you think the Devils should have more of? So again, I'm a old school merch hoarder. Like this is the Marty Brodeur. This is a 20 plus year vintage piece right here. This thing was given away. Look at this with the flip up. They don't make shit like this anymore. What? The Marty Brodeur, brought to you by, JP Morgan Chase. This is an absolute beauty of an item. I think they gave this away in 2002 or 3. But it's funny you mentioned that. I'm actually going to make a video of the top. I'm going to give the Devils a little free marketing. I'm going to do a whole little video on like the top 10 giveaways that the Devils should do. And maybe someone will take notice. No one's going to take notice, but I'm going to pretend in my head that someone will, and that somehow this is going to affect change. It absolutely won't, but I'm going to tell myself that to get hyped up for the video. So look for that. I'm going to have that in the next probably week or two. I've had tons of ideas. I didn't waste my time ever trying to submit them because, again, no one listens, but it is funny you mentioned that because I do have a video planned for that. I'm bringing my Stevens CCM Authentic and my Nico Stadium Series jerseys. Nice. Very nice. Those Stadium Series jerseys are so sweet. What a beautiful work of art. Devils need a pitchfork manufacturer sponsor. Oh, wow. You live in Vancouver, so even going to Prudential is really haul. Yeah, that's Western Canada. I mean, that's definitely a hike for sure. So totally get it. Have you ever been to Prudential at all? What's the Devils trade offer for Swayman? I have no interest in Swayman. The guy wants way too much money. He's obviously nuts. I don't know if anyone saw Cam Neely's press conference, but Cam Neely's a legend. Totally calling the guy out. I think they offered him $8 million times 8 years, and he rejected it. Like, sorry, Swayman, you're not worth any more money than that. You were a tandem goalie. Shut your mouth. So if I was a Bruins fan, I would hate Swayman right now. And I haven't really been following it from that perspective, but I'd imagine that Boston media and Bruins fans are just ripping him mercilessly because that's a more than generous offer for him, and he doesn't want to sign. I would have no interest in that guy. I think he wants like $10 million. If the Devils ever paid Swayman $10 million, I would riot outside on the plaza. Absolutely, I would riot outside on the plaza. Devils don't come to my city, Toronto, till January. I hope the Devils are on fire so I can see them beat the Leafs. I've been to Toronto a couple times. I saw the Devils get destroyed in the Hall of Fame game the weekend that the great Martin Brodeur was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. That was the second time I've been to the Hall of Fame in my life. If you've never been there before and you could do so, I highly recommend going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's absolutely awesome. If you plan on trying to do a road trip out of it or whatever it is, flight, and checking out the Devils in Toronto, I would kind of tie it in with that. I've wanted to get back to Toronto for a while, preferably not in the middle of winter. And it seems like, it's in January. Probably be very cold. I want to get to. I've actually never seen a game in Montreal. That's high on my list as well. I've been to Montreal several times, but never saw a hockey game there. Swayman is going to be too expensive for us. Exactly. He's looking for $10 million. There's zero chance of us fitting him anytime soon without making some major moves. And I wouldn't want to, do whatever the move would be to be able to fit him because I just don't think he's worth that money. I really don't. And I had a very similar sentiment about Ullmark when a lot of people wanted Ullmark. I'm hoping, for other selfish reasons as well, for those of you that know me, I'm hoping Ottawa falls flat on their face and Ullmark just comes up short and that team is looking to make some big moves at the deadline. Wink, wink, nod, nod. I'll be at the Toronto versus Devils game in Toronto in January. Look at you, traveling Devil, just living the life. Just living the life, checking out all the exotic locations, just traveling with the Devils, not a care in the world. When I grow up, I want to be traveling Devil. Kobe, as long as Swayman is not in the Eastern Conference, yeah, that would be nice to see him, ship somewhere far, far away. Would be nice. I would prefer him not to be in the conference as well. Send him to the West Coast. Love it. J-Aviation, what's going on, sir? I was born in Vancouver and still lived there, but lived in Jersey for 9 years from age 3 to 12, which is when I got into hockey, hence not a Canucks fan. Been to pro a lot and we go see NJ family. Very nice. I'm assuming you have to have is the Canucks like your backup team? It would make sense. You live there. We won't judge you for it. Team Quinn Hughes. Planning my first Hall of Fame visit this year. Can't wait to check it out. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a great time. They have tons of amazing stuff on display. They have some interactive stuff. They have the puck shot and some other stuff. Isles might be a little F to start the season because the Sorokin-Varlamov tandem carries them and Sorokin is injured. Varlamov has played great for stretches the past couple years as well. I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if they don't skip a beat with him. He's played really well for stretches, and I think he's more than capable. I saw the Devils in Toronto in January. It was -10 below. Whoa. Devils won, though. That is cold. Am I going, Cool Anthony, are you going to film? Am I going to film what? I'm curious what you mean by that. Canucks Devils Cup final is still my prediction. That would be very interesting. I would love, obviously, to see the Devils in the Cup final against anybody. I would love it more if they played a team that was much closer so that it was easier to travel to, because I would love to go see the Devils in the Cup finals on the road. That is something I've seen the Devils play many Stanley Cup finals games. I have yet to see them play a Cup finals game on the road. So that would present itself with a first for me. The first opportunity to see them play for the Cup or in a Cup final game rather on the road. And I'm just trying to, Nashville would be ideal. Nashville Devils versus, even though I hate Nashville and they stole Stamkos from us and they got Marchessault and blah, blah, blah. I'd be rooting for a Devils Predators Stanley Cup final because that represents the absolute closest Western team to the Devils, and that would make traveling back and forth very, very easy. And that would be just a dream come true. And then hopefully we smash Stamkos and would win the Cup. But I'll take them in the Cup finals against anybody. Are you going to film videos of the Devils home opener? And sorry about the last message. Ignore that one. Yeah, I'm going to have a ton of videos from the home opener for sure. For sure, I'll have a ton of videos. That'll be like the official kickoff to the season. There'll be a video bonanza. All kinds of videos coming out of the home opener. My bucket list is to see the Devils in every arena. So far, I could check off the list. Yeah, that's a very noble project that I might get on board with that at some point as well, to try to visit every arena. That is really cool. You have Toronto, Vegas, Dallas, Anaheim, Carolina, Washington, Nashville. I'd have to write all mine down. I've probably seen a good, 8 to 10 arenas, which is such a small fraction. But that is a really cool thing to hit every arena. Some of those Western Canada ones, Calgary, I'm curious if there's anything else to do out there while you're going to check out the Devils. Canucks NJ Cup is a dream. Hughes Bowl in my hometown. Yeah, for you, I'm sure that would be. And I'm sure the league would love that too, right? The Hughes Bowl, the Hughes Cup, the cup of the all Hughes brothers in it. Yeah, the league would run. People would be sick of that story after the first day. The media would be going absolutely crazy with it, as would the league. 3 brothers in the final. Anything else, guys? Wrapping up here. A meaningless preseason win, but it felt as good as a meaningless preseason win could. To see the guys play the way they did, for Jeremy Brodeur to get the start, nearly get the shutout, 29 of 30 saves, first star of the game. It was a special night at the Rock. I wish I was there. Can't make it to all of them. I had something to do, and I regret not trying to move things around more to go, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We have 2 more real quick before I go. Let me just back in action tomorrow night at MSG. Probably going to see a very similar lineup, maybe a few different tweaks. I'm very curious to see who we see in net. I would suspect we're going to see Isaac Poulter one of these next two games and maybe Tyler Brennan the other. I'm not sure, but I definitely want to see Poulter in one of the next two games. And I think we will. And then, like I said, maybe Brennan. Maybe. Yeah, I can't see them giving Jeremy another one, but that would be really sweet if they did. That would be really sweet if I did. Visit every arena is my goal. Also, it's a good excuse to travel. Man, Traveling Devil. Yeah, Traveling Devil's your name. You're everywhere. You're here, there, everywhere. Let's get lit at the home opener. There will be tons of people getting lit at the home opener for sure. It's super expensive to get lit in the arena these days, as I think someone posted a thing the other day. There was beers that were like $22. Wild. Devin, appreciate the live. Always fun to hang out here and chill with fellow Devil fans. Absolutely. Is this when they could play him in the Devils main team? Are you referring to Ouroboros? Are you referring to Jeremy Brodeur? I think you're referring to Jeremy. And technically, there's nothing stopping them from playing him on the Devils main team now, except for the fact that we have a lot of guys in net on the depth chart ahead of him, unfortunately. So, Markstrom is our starter. Jake Allen is the backup. And then depending on who you ask, the next guy in the depth chart would, I guess it's fair to say it's in concrete now because he's the third guy brought to Prague, would be Nico Dawes. And then below him would probably be Poulter. And then probably Tyler Brennan. But then we have a lot of guys. We have tons of goalie prospects. And so it may be a while or possibly never again, unfortunately. That might be the last time, first and last time you see Jeremy Brodeur play a preseason game for the Devils. That is a possible reality. Yeah, Frank, absolutely felt good to hear the word saved by Brodeur again. Yep. Total nostalgia. And you could tell, for those of you that got the MSG network feed, you could tell Bryce Salvador and Ken Danico, the two of them, Sal and Dano were getting an absolute kick out of it. They both played with Marty, and they were kind of talking about the similarities between Marty's game and Jeremy's, and they were telling funny little stories and stuff. So those two guys definitely enjoyed it as well. If the Devils don't make the playoffs, I'm retiring. If the Devils don't make the playoffs, I'm retiring too. My heart wouldn't be able to take it. Not making the playoffs this year after all of the additions and the expectations, it would not be good. Tailgate when? Maybe there's no tailgate. There's no tailgate, stick figs. There's nowhere to tailgate. If there's another stadium series, there'll absolutely be some kind of tailgate. I'm wondering if it's worth trying to do a tailgate at a road game. That would be interesting. It'd probably be hard to assemble a lot of people, but there is no. I told you guys I wanted to try to do the sneak tailgate in Newark. It wouldn't be the same, but it would be funny. It absolutely would be funny to pull off a sneak tailgate in coordination with one of the owners of the parking lots in Newark. Yeah, Devin, I 100% want to see Poulter. I was fortunate enough to see him play in the first round of the ECHL playoffs last year, game 6 and 7 in Glen Falls. They lost game 6. They won game 7. He looked pretty sharp. I think he's going to be a very good one, and I think he's definitely going to be right there in the running to be the next goaltender of the future for the franchise when the Markstrom era is done, whether that's in 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. I think Poulter's going to be right there fighting for that job with probably Nico Dawes and maybe one or two other guys. He did a great job. I'd prefer him over Dawes. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all going with the nostalgia there and would want him over Dawes too. I just don't know how realistic that is from the, coaching kind of standpoint. That's right. Win or lose, we booze. And speaking of booze, I forgot our new sponsor, Dirty Devil Vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. Check out their website, see where you can pick it up near you. Very good, very smooth. I had a couple Dirty Devil drinks during the game. Tailgate at Wells Fargo, only 2-hour drive. Philly is just such a. It's not even a love-hate. It's just a hate. I just have a hate relationship with Philadelphia and pretty much everything Philadelphia except for cheesesteaks. Their cheesesteaks live up to the billing. A lot of those places, those cheesesteaks are great. But as far as the fans go, the city itself, not really a big fan. And I might be attending the last preseason game for this season when the Devils go there in a few days. I might be making that trip in conjunction with something else that I'm doing for the channel that you guys should enjoy. But we'll see how that happens. Except his liver if Devils don't make it to the playoffs. Yeah, no, if there's another long year like that, I don't know. I don't know. My liver will definitely be taxed throughout the year for sure. You'll 100% be back here next year if they don't make the playoffs. You know it. We all know it. I'll be back watching the games. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy to sit here and do this because it does become a kind of a taxing thing. I love talking to all the fans and trying to kind of make a little community where fans can BS with each other. But wow, I don't even want to think about that. Another year of no playoffs. I love this hat. Thank you. I found this online. I was like, this is just such a beautiful hat. It really is. It's basic and clean. You going to Philly for the preseason, also hate Philly. Yeah, it's true. It's a long story that I'll explain in the future, but I have another thing kind of tied in with going to that area so I could justify in my head going to the preseason game. And that's it. Honestly, when we lose your channel is the only hockey shit I could deal with. We all suffer in the same safe space. Well, thank you for that, Devin. I definitely probably ranted a little too hard after some of those losses last year, but it is funny to see that a lot of you were also outraged at certain performances throughout the year. And yeah, I try to provide a place where we could all come and commiserate together during the bad times as well as come and celebrate during the good times. And hopefully there's a lot more celebrations than commiserations in the 24-25 season, and that these boys these boys go on a deep run. We need a line of succession for the channel if we have 20, 23, 24 years in the near future. Early unhinged ace is a gem. Yeah, that definitely was some of the early times the channel was definitely unhinged. There was nights where I almost broke my television. And shout out to all of you guys that were here from the beginnings or close to the beginnings for those times, because I definitely lost my my stuff a lot of times. Be on guard if you go there. The fans of the Philadelphia garbage people are not to be trusted ever. #animals. Oh God, collect records. That is hilarious. I'm pretty much on guard everywhere I go now. I mean, it's sad to say there's lunatics everywhere you go. Obviously, as a road fan going to a place, my spidey senses and kind of defense mechanisms are at an all-time high. But anytime you go anywhere, even at the Rock, I'm kind of in that mode, like, because people are just nuts. You never know. People drink a lot and get testy, talk smack. Sometimes they, do physical assaults out of nowhere. And so I'm always on the lookout for that sort of stuff. And I will definitely be at code red, level 10 awareness in hostile territory for sure. I remember last New Year's Eve being very rough. Yeah, that was definitely a rough one. All right, guys, I'm tired. I'm old. Devils win. The Devils win. Or I should say the Utica Comets win 3-1 over the New York Rangers / Hartford Wolfpack. Jeremy Brodeur, son of the greatest of all time, Martin Brodeur, comes in, stops 29 of 30, almost had the shutout. He was so close he could taste it, blew it in the final minute and a half or so. First star of the game. Devils roll on. We finally get a win, and that's all she wrote, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll be back soon. I love you all. And a few days till the Global Series in Prague. Have a great night, everybody. And I'm going to go look for some snacks in my refrigerator. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go